How is it going, YouTube? Get in there. 2-0. Yes! I was going to start this off shouting, Sue! But good team. Second half performance, team performance. Carrick at the wheel. Carrick at the wheel. Is this going to be another thing? I think in terms of the performance, second half, 10 times better. Unbelievable performance from the second half. The first half paid off. We rode his luck a little bit early in the second half with that unbelievable save, but unbelievable bounce of luck for them to just get a second chance half volley. It was like watching something scripted off FIFA. It was ridiculous, but we rode that little bit of luck, and then Fred and people like Fred really pressuring in there. McTominay supported him a little bit, but Fred's pressing helped it with two of them. But there's a bit of feedback here in terms of some of the chances early in the second half, and that one there where it leaked through, and that save really swung at the game. I mean, the Reds drop when you see a save like that. You just think, if I'm not going to score that, I don't know what I could score. Just ridiculous. And I think Villarreal felt as if during the whole game they were in control, that at some point they were going to score. And I think we all did to an extent. And then the second half changes, fair play, and I saw Carrick having a word there with Van der Beek and just say, look, you did the graft, don't be disheartened with yourself. Bruno's come on, Rashford's come on, and then suddenly the game's changed. That's nothing to do with the fact that you haven't performed. You've done the hard graft in the first half, and you've kept that goalless. You kept that goalless. You're giving us a chance. He's by 65th minute, he's got an hour and 5 minutes there. He's given Bruno the best opportunity then to do what he does best, and he was unbelievable. Some of the passing, the pressing, the interchangeable play. It got Sancho up with confidence. He started playing Sancho in. Sancho started turning it around. I mean, that goal there from Ronaldo, watching it back, unreal. Fred though, straight on it, straight into the press, brilliant. And Ronaldo knowing exactly where he needs to be, exactly where the keeper is. Inch perfect finish, and you just feel like United's look would have been eating the post or something in that moment. But unbelievable finish, unbelievable class in it, just class. But Fred, fair play. I mean, to be fair, you could argue Capoe goes down there. Does he concede a free kick, Fred? But fair play. He hassles him. He loses the ball. And Ronaldo does what he does best. Any other striker in the world there, he's taking a touch or trying to drag it back. Absolutely class. Absolutely class. But no, second half, much improved performance from United. We weren't the better team first half. You could argue across the entirety of the 90 minutes we weren't the better team. But for the last 25, 30 minutes, we were the better side, quite convincingly better side. Some of the football that we played was more direct, and it was better. And Rashford, I've said this about Rashford before as well. He's an impact player. He comes on, he runs at teams, and he's an impact player. And it worked. So yeah, we need to continue that on. It's hard graft, and sometimes players don't want to do it. Brilliant from Fred there, winning it back again. Getting it back, and the second goal was just brilliant. Working it across, Bruno again. Oh, that is an audacious finish from Sancho. That is just ridiculous. I mean, when you look at it from the angle above the goal, it's the only angle he's got, and you can tell that he means to shoot to that top corner. Just the way that he shoots, ridiculous. He just puts his head down and he thinks, I've just got to go for it. Unbelievable. That's talent. It's class, absolutely class. Carrick. The initial things I saw. I mean, Maguire was brilliant. I thought Maguire was brilliant. It was solid. I thought Lindelof had a few shaky moments, but I thought overall he dealt with a lot of the issues. Wan-Bissaka had a poor first half. I thought defensively he was a bit better, but going forward a poor second half, loads better in both facets of his game. McTominay had an average game, I think, throughout, really. A little bit better in the second half. Thought Van der Beek did okay, but I think he had a lot to do against a fresh Villarreal team. I think Sancho could only get better. I think it just needs more and more confidence, and I think the more and more he gets confidence, a couple of times where he had the opportunity to run at the full back, and he didn't. He passed it inside, or he came inside, and it worked. I mean, he should have scored the first goal, and he was unfortunate. It was a good save, to be fair. Ronaldo just does Ronaldo does. He pops up and he just gets the goal, and he arguably sets the second goal on its way after Fred's good work and stuff, and then finishes it off. So brilliant. Bruno was class when he came on. I thought he didn't put a foot wrong, and it was exactly what we needed. Right, what we needed to turn the game around. I personally felt as if he wasn't going to do much coming on, but he dropped deep, which then linked up the play, and the game slowed down. The legs tired on both sides, and it allowed Bruno and Rashford, who had energy and legs, to exploit that, and it was brilliant. Just a good coach's performance. I think, like I say, we rode his luck a little bit in moments. I thought they got a little fortunate with some of the chances that were created, especially the major chance that they had, which De Gea had no right to save, and he did. Tipped it over the bar, but that was fortunate that they had a shot that came off somebody's back and bobbled and went across goal to somebody else on the half volley. So that was a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, genuinely, I felt better performance second half. First half was just the graft first half where we were under the cosh. We did a job, and then in the second half, in the first 15 minutes, we were able to get a little bit of control eventually once the game slowed down. So brilliant. Carrick, yeah, keeps on sort of putting these kind of, does the same against Chelsea. Could he be the manager at the end of the season? Why not? Why not? I was quite inspired by his confidence on the sidelines. He didn't seem to want to sit there and chew his fingernails and sort of sulk away in the corner and be quiet. He wanted to come out and wanted to show his energy. It's always a bit awkward when somebody like Ollie, who's been, managing, and then when you get a result like that and you get a performance like that, or some of the players that were clearly underperforming while he was there, and some players that he was putting a lot of faith in, like Fred, who suddenly now has had a good sort of 50-60 minutes of a game there, to not turn up when Ollie was there. It was a bit, that's a bit awkward. And Carrick, who's been sat next to him for nearly 3 years, is we're suddenly up there and making changes, like playing Sancho and Van der Beek and Martial, who were all pretty much sitting on the bench a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, and beyond. So yeah, positive. Be interesting to see what Carrick has to say. I didn't want to make this a massively long one. I think we just done an hour and a half's watch along, and yeah, there's a lot to take from it. I don't think we need to get carried away. I'm sure Twitter's blowing up, and other media outlets are exploding, but I just don't want to get too carried away with it in a minute. Let's have a check on what Twitter's saying. Let's have a look. Who's your man of the match? I think Bruno and Rashford changed the game, but they only changed the game because they had the energy to change the game. Yeah, they're quality players, but they changed the game. I think Fred had a good game. I thought Fred played well, but Bruno linked it up. I think Bruno coming on linked up that play. Brilliant. Just brilliant overall. I'm just, yeah. Man United after Neymar. Just scrolling down. Manchester Evening News. Manchester after Neymar. Why would you want Neymar? It's just ridiculous. No, brilliant. overall, just absolutely fantastic. I think, I don't think we can get carried away. I think we've just got to take it one game at a time now. Just get a little bit of stability with it. Um, I'm a little bit behind with some of the updates on Twitter, but I just thought generally, it's just nice to talk about a win for a change, about a positive result. Brilliant. Matt coming on for what seems like just literally a park run. Lindelof was class. Just looking at some of his first half performances, he was class. He was brilliant. All this talk about, give Maguire his dues. Maguire didn't put a foot wrong in that game, and with defenders, with centre halves, what you want to see is, what what you want to see is you want to see. Well, you don't want to see centre halves. You just want to see this sort of like sort of ninjas performance where you don't notice them. They don't notice them, and that's what a good centre half does. You don't notice them; they just constantly like mop it up and move it on, and that's what Maguire did tonight. He didn't put a foot wrong. He didn't put a pass or a tackle or an aerial challenge. Did he put wrong? I thought he did brilliantly tonight, and people are quite easy to get on his back about things, and I'll be honest, I haven't been one of these fans that I've been particularly happy with him, but he didn't do anything wrong tonight, and so we should be praising Maguire for a good, solid performance against a good team in Villarreal. Yeah, Scholes and some of the other pundits saying there, like they're not at the level that Chelsea are going to be at on Saturday. Yeah, but there's not a lot of teams in the world that are at what level Chelsea are at this moment in time, other than maybe Liverpool or what Bayern Munich, or there's not a lot of teams. It's probably 4 or 5 teams. PSG, maybe another one, that are at that kind of level, or have got that ability to be at that level. So Villarreal are a good side, a good Champions League side. And in terms of where we're at the minute, to beat them 2-0 away from home, it is a good performance considering how poor we've actually been. So no, Maguire deserves some credit, I think, for that performance. I think Lindelof was excellent as well. I think he had a few more sort of duels to combat with, or it seemed that way. It seemed a little bit more on his side. Just generally a solid performance. I think we just need to kick on from it now. Against Chelsea, Chelsea, Tuchel, I'm sure after his game tonight, they'll be looking at that performance later on in the week, and they're probably expecting to see it at on the weekend on Sunday. And we'll just have to see. I mean, it was a solid performance, really. I'm just pleased that we've got a result out of that game and keep us in the Champions League. It puts us through to the last 16. So brilliant. Let's just hear what Carrick's got to say. Carrick really struggling to hold back his joy. Well, fair play to him. He made it really clear that he was looking at this game, and when you're taking such a big job, you just want results, and he's got a big result out of that one. That'll be nice for him. Atalanta getting a 1-0. Oh, it's full. No, just 1-0 up against Young Boys, so they look like they could be on with a shout of nicking second place if Villarreal don't lose their last game, win their last game. Doing a little bogey thing, is Carrick. What's going on? All side to side. I get the feeling though. Um, there's, I, Carrick seems to be, to me, somewhat of a gentleman, really, with this. And maybe I'm wrong here, but it's odd that he's been sat next to him for God knows how many years. And it's like he's bit his tongue with some of the decisions that Ollie's made, which is odd, really. As a former player of his, as a Man United icon, and Carrick is, he had just as much say at times, especially when it was getting poor, to sort of like give his say on the team, but he maybe stayed gentlemanly in terms of his role within the team, and today he's picked a team where I don't feel Ollie would have had that had the brave would have been brave enough to pick it. Personally, I don't think he would have been that brave to pick a team like that to start off with, and then to make the changes when he did at the right sort of times was another brave thing to do, and he got a result from it. And it shows that when you use that squad wisely, and you pick a system, it works. Now, how has that not worked before? They're the same coaches. The only person that's changed is literally the man that has to pick the team. You're not telling me that Ollie had that much control over that set of coaches and that team, that he was driving them into the ground. That's just surely not what's happened there. So, these just looking at the next 7 fixtures: Chelsea, Arsenal, then Palace, Young Boys, Norwich, Brentford, Brighton. But aside from Arsenal, which I think we should be winning that game, aside from Chelsea, we should be looking at winning the next 6 out of 7 games. In my book, we've got to. The real test for Carrick now is how this team fares against a weaker opposition. I've seen it too many times last season where we've come up against weaker opposition and we've not been able to dominate the ball. We've not had any kind of awareness to attack. The goals today have come up from a break, from a counter-attack, from a break, from catching them and pushing the defenders and facing the defenders the opposite direction and sprinting at the defenders. How can we fare when we've got a possession game and we've got to work a team out and got to crack a code? How are we going to fare against a team like that? And that's where we've struggled, where we try and figure a team out, we lose the ball and the ball's going back the other way, and then we get figured out. And that's where we struggle. That's where we struggled against Everton. That's where we struggled against Leicester. That's where we struggled against Watford. And that's my concern. Just looking at the leading managerial candidates on the TV here, but I mean, for me, I just want to. There's no one really that's standing out to me that can take this team to that next level. Personally, at this moment in time, Poch. I think the experience in the league is too much. I know he had Southampton and then I know he had Spurs, but at the top level, I just don't think he has that Premier League experience. And then, Blanc, Rangnick, Ten Hag, even Zidane. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would be sat here again in a year or two's time, tearing his hair out with some of those managers. But ultimately, it was a good performance. Carrick got it right. Yes, we rode a bit of luck, but he got it right. And yeah, it was a good performance. So 2-0. Ronnie got us going. Bruno coming on was fantastic. It moved us forward, and there's a couple of Fred, fair play, dug in, and yeah, stuck in there. So where do we go from here? Chelsea's a big one. He gets a performance out of Chelsea. Well, we're looking at the start of another Ollie, aren't we? But we'll see. Right, guys, I'm gonna leave it there anyway. It's been a long afternoon, long evening. Done a little bit of a stream beforehand, and then another one now. I just wanted to do a slightly shorter one. So 2-0. Hopefully, we can do it again against Chelsea on the weekend. Fingers crossed. But yeah, good performance. Last 16. Here we go. Catch you next one, guys. See you soon.